Hi guys, welcome back to Cryptid Chronicles, and in today's episode and file, it's going to go over the Black-Eyed Kids.
BEK.
And the origins of that legend is that the legend of black-eyed children originated in 1996 when Texas journalist Brian Bethel shared his unsettling encounters on a paranormal mailing list. Bethel described two teenagers approaching his car in Abilene, Texas, asking for a ride to see a movie, only for him to notice their completely black eyes and feel overwhelming fear. That's it. And feel overwhelming fear, prompting him to flee. A similar encounter was reported in Portland, Oregon, around the same time, helping the story gain traction online. The physical description and behavior of said black-eyed children are typically described as pale-skinned children or teenagers aged 6 to 16, often wearing modern or occasionally old-fashioned clothing. Their most distinctive feature is their solid black eyes, lacking visible pupils, irises, or whites, which creates an unnerving, otherworldly appearance. They are usually seen in pairs, and their behavior is marked by calm, monotone speech and unnerving composure, often asking to be let into homes or vehicles. Witnesses report a strong sense of terror or dread when encountering them, affecting humans and even animals. What do you think about that, Zach?
I don't know, that's kind of creepy. So, like, you be just driving down the road, and you just see two pale little kids with dark eyes.
Yeah, fuck that. Bye, bitch.
Right?
Keep on going.
Like, so are like they're like, do they talk?
Yeah, it says they're asking for permission to enter.
Can I come in?
Nope. Where's your mama?
I'm lost.
I don't care. Bitch, this is 2026. You better get a fucking phone.
You're right. Like, I don't know. That just kids in general, like, cause like Children of the Corn. Back in the day, that was creepy.
Outlander. I'm sorry.
And then, like, even with I can never remember it, but we were talking about it in the like the movie The Grudge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that stuff's creepy. It was like a yokai.
Yokai and shit. Yeah.
So like the little boy in The Grudge, though,
Mm-hmm.
like that was the one part of the movie that scared me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only part scared just terrifying. Yeah.
And the shit coming out of a bitch's hair in the shower?
Yeah.
That freaked me the fuck out.
I don't know. Just imagine, especially where we live. You driving down. Say we're driving down your road.
Nope.
And there's just two like pale looking kids in like pilgrimy looking clothes.
Yep, aliens. Keep
just
going.
Just stay in there and be like, help me.
I'm sorry.
I can't find my mom.
Fuck
Help.
your mom. I don't give a shit. You better get away from me. Hey, is this nighttime?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, fuck. I don't even look at them. Just keep going.
But then, like, you get up to your driveway and then you park and to get out and they're there behind. Like, you go to look in your rearview mirror and there they are standing behind your vehicle. Like, that's creepy.
I'll be running faster than fuck into my house, and I get me my pistol, and I am just saying, hey, I got the right to protect myself.
So, like, me being me.
Yeah.
Like, so is it supposed to be, I guess, like a spirit?
I don't know. Let's dive a little deeper into some of the other stuff that they have on here. Is like the cultural impact of said reports. The Black-Eyed Children legend has spread widely through internet forums, social media, and paranormal websites, becoming a staple of modern creepypasta culture. The story inspired a crowd-funded horror film in 2012 and has been featured in tabloid articles and television programs including Monsters and Mysteries in America. Reports of sightings have appeared across the United States and internationally, though none have been verified by police or scientific sources. Like, okay, so, like, I was sitting there, and, like, these two kids came up and was like, hey, bro, we need a ride, man. Can we get in the car? And so I'm like, fuck you, bro. And I keep going. So I called you, officer. And like, I'm just saying, like, that's some freaky fucking bullshit. Because they were like, this like all like 19 shit. And like, they were just, a bunch of beggars, man. It's fucking crazy. And the cops gonna go, yeah. Right, and then go to the news report. Well, yeah, we took the report and we went and investigated, and we went on down there to El Hucherino over by the Piggly Wiggly, and sure as fuck enough, there was like 2 of these little children over there, and they was all bloop, 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 and trying to get in the police car, and I was like, fuck you, and I just took off. Not verified by police. Like, what the? Or scientific sources. Like, what fucking scientist is going to be out there?
Like,
yes, well, the calculations show that, yes, there was 2 children over here, and they did have black eyes, indubitably. They were out of the house. Yeah.
There ain't no fucking that's stupid. Police or scientific sources. It should say paranormal investigators or like some kind of like how like you got like a geologist that studies this. Something
like
to
a
do.
demonologist?
Demonologist. Fuck yeah. Ed,
I don't know. I think, like, granted,
I'm just saying, like,
I'm
Ed
a little
Warren.
skeptical. Yeah.
Ed Warren could have went over there and was like,
that's a hoax.
demons. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the calculation.
Anyway.
You're actually, yeah.
Voices.
I
like to do voices. They're
Yeah.
fun. Nice and fun. Kind of like me on the weekends. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Gotta keep it wacky.
We're going to the folkloric and psychological interpretations. So some scholars, because we got some high-paid fucking scholar people out there actually investigating these reports. They interpreted the black-eyed children as modern representations of death and malevolent spirits. Malevolent. Exploiting the human instinct to help children. Man, bitch, fuck children. What? Ain't nobody trying to help some children. No. I'm sorry. But, like, if there was 2 children out in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, and they're just, like, calm and collective and walking up to my car going, hey.
Is that what they're gonna be, like, deep like that, too? Hey.
Hi. Can we have a ride?
Ain't no fucking way. That's all bullshit legit.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. They're going to be like, I can't find my mom.
Right, like, it's just gonna be crying.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Anybody, like, any child that would come up in the dark and be like, can I have a ride? Like, and my thing is, when you're looking at, like, talking to somebody, you're looking at their face. So you'd see the creepy black eyes.
Now, I would be more... It'd be more possible for me to, like, if I'm in town, and I'm, like, I'm leaving Walmart or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm getting walked to the car, and then there's this kid just sitting there crying, and like, I give my mom. I'll be more inclined to grab. Hey, bud, come with me. We'll go inside.
Yeah, but say like, say it's like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Fuck no.
Hang on, like, hear me out. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're over there. Nobody's around. You're just at the pump pumping your gas.
Yep.
And like this kid comes walking off the highway towards you, and he just keeps going and going and going, and then he comes up to you and he's just like, "Sir, I'm lost."
Well, there's a gas station right there. He can help you out. There's a guy in there.
But I'm hungry.
Well, there's a guy in there with food, too. So, you're a kid. You can steal. It'll be okay. You ain't going to get nothing.
I don't know. Like, kids, I don't know. 2 things that terrify me because, like, even in the movies, old people and kids.
Children.
Like, it's just, I don't know what it is. In any movie, old people are scary and anything with children.
A child.
Because I guess you're always supposed to be like, a child is innocent.
Yeah.
So then you make them all scary and demonic. It's just like,
But anyway, going back onto that is the comparisons have been drawn to like Irish changelings and Native American water babies.
Native American water babies.
Water babies. Is that like a water bed? I'm pretty sure that's more than likely possible. Like out in the woods, along a waterway, you'll hear crying. Maybe. I don't know. But Irish changelings and Native American water babies will be in a case file that we will go over.
Definitely, I want to
down the road.
I want to hear more about these water babies.
Water babies.
Is that like a food baby?
Water babies. Anyway, which similarly.
Spit it out, Jim.
Similarly, there it is. Similarly, use the guise of children to manipulate and terrify humans. The legend taps into a deep-seated fear of the uncanny, something familiar like a child appearing unnaturally threatening. Bitch, no one ever watched Pet Sematary?
Yeah, that one was kind of creepy.
Anyway, just that damn child actor that I hate. Anyway, moving on. So the summary of all that is that the Black-Eyed Children were made a modern urban legend, blending folklore, paranormal claims, and internet culture. Their eerie appearance, insistence on entry.
Jim's here in spirit.
Yeah.
Jimisms.
Insistence on entry and the fear they inspire have made them a persistent and chilling figure in contemporary mythology, even as hard evidence remains elusive.
So, like, yeah, I mean, so with Black-Eyed Children, I swear, every time I hear that, I think Black-Eyed Peas. I'm not going to lie. I think they need to come up with a better name.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, how else would you describe them, though? It's
I don't know.
They go Black-Eyed Children is because there's some children, and they got black eyes.
Oh, just call them the children. The lost children.
Like Peter Pan?
Yeah. And maybe they went to, what is it?
Neverland. With Michael Jackson. Simone. Anyway. So, now that we all know the story and the legend,
Black-Eyed Children.
we're going to go into some reports and encounters that people have shared online.
Yeah, because I'm so excited about this.
Fucking A. So this one is entitled
$50. Somebody's doing something shady in the woods, and it happens to them.
Bet.
Just like in the movies.
So the first one is entitled Midnight Caller.
That's rude as fuck.
What?
Who be calling people at midnight?
Bitch, you literally called me at like 12:30 yesterday, or the day before.
We're night people.
Anyway. So, going into it, it almost felt like a dream. I woke up to my dog, Lucy, barking. She was upright on the bed where my husband and I were sleeping with our 22-month-old daughter. Hold on. 22-month-old daughter. Just say my 1-year-old, because I haven't had that second birthday yet.
I hate when people do that because they'll go, my 48-month.
Yeah, fuck. Shut the fuck up.
My 48-month-old child.
My 22-month-old daughter. Your year-old. Anyway. Staring at our door like an unknown stranger was out there rummaging around. I thought she was just freaking out over a house noise. Sorry. What the fuck? A house noise. Those things are very creepy. Anyway. Yeah. We'd only had her for 3 months, and she was still a puppy. It could have been... house noise. It could have been anything. Our roommate... What the fuck?
This must be a big house.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, you got a wife, a husband, a fucking 22-month-old, and a roommate. Anyway, a creak from the house settling, the awnings moving outside in the breeze. I wasn't too concerned initially. I decided the best bet would be to open the door and show her nothing was there.
That's the worst thing to do.
Fucking A.
You just open the door. Look, monsters ain't real.
Well, I know what race these people are. Anyway. And the user writes, Dear Casey, I decided the best bet would be to open the door and show her nothing was there. It sounds a bit silly, but it's what we do with our daughter when she gets scared, and I figured it should work with the puppy. Because, puppies and babies are exactly the same.
Almost identical.
I opened the door, and she raced to the front door. She stood there, snarling at the door.
The child or the dog?
It was, I don't know, it doesn't say, but it was an angry, violent growl, one I had never heard her make before. I looked groggily at her and opened the baby gate. Blocking the door, why is it a baby gate? You got a 22-month-old. Oh, it's because it's a year-old. Okay, anyway. Blocking the doorway, planning to open the door and show her everything was okay. The second my hand reached the deadbolt, Lucy went wild. She started barking and jumped toward me. And when I touched the metal, she suddenly changed her temper. She whimpered, almost like she was afraid and backing down. As her mannerism changed, so did mine. I wasn't calm anymore. My heart was racing and sinking at the same time. I had been flooded with a mixture of fear and dread. I looked through the peephole. I can't explain why I looked, but I did. Outside were two kids. One was just a smidgen shorter. Smidgen.
A smidgen?
That's my word. I use that all the time. A smidgen. Shorter than me. And didn't look much younger. I'm 21. And she 21. And she looked to be 16 or 17. She was slender and pale. Her hair was a light shade of honey blonde. Why so descriptive?
Hey, it's like we're writing a book.
And she wore it long. About mid-back, with long, thin, blunt bangs in the front that covered most of her eyes.
So like emo?
Yeah, and she wore jeans. A light wash. That's popular right now. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway. Phew. And a thin-looking, olive-colored pullover-style hoodie. She held the hand of a small girl who looked to be around 3 or 4 in the same style of jeans and a button-down ivory cardigan. The smaller one looked at the floor shyly, but had the same shade of hair, tied back in a ponytail. She held a stuffed toy under her free arm, and it was identical to the one my daughter has. She probably stole it. As was their style of dress. Wow, identical to one my daughter has. As was their style of dress. Had it not been for the feeling of overwhelming dread and fear, I probably would have asked these children in and given them some tea.
No, you wouldn't. Don't lie.
Or hot chocolate to get them out of the bitter cold. Something about them seemed off. At this point, I hadn't made any noise. Jesus. I hadn't shushed the dog or grumbled nothing. I hadn't turned on any lights. These kids had no indicators I was at the door. The older one spoke. She had a voice that was mature, confident, strong, and accentless.
Accentless.
She held her head tilted downward, and I couldn't see her eyes. She said, "We have to use your phone." I stood frozen in fear. How did she know I was there? She raised her head to face me directly, and that was when I saw her eyes. There was a reason I couldn't see them through her bangs before. They were black, or midnight blue, or a dark, dark purple. They were otherworldly, she said. Otherworldly. Period. She said, "Our mother is worried." As someone who has always been interested in creepy stories, I knew what she was the second she looked at me through the door. I have never been one to believe in these things as a staunch atheist. The fuck's a staunch atheist?
I don't know what staunch is.
And skeptic. When it comes to the paranormal. Oh, so Zach.
Yeah, but I'm not staunch.
Staunch. I had written off many a ghost story from friends and family members eager to tell their tale. I didn't believe it. Whoa. Little technical difficulty there. Anyway. I had written off many ghost stories from friends and family members eager to tell their tale. I didn't believe it. Still, I couldn't rationalize my way out of this. I was standing with nothing but a thin wooden door between me and a black-eyed kid. There was no questioning what was right in front of me. I did not answer her. Slowly and silently, I backed away from the door. Lucy, still cowering at my ankles, she kept talking. Just let us in to use your phone. I took another step back, and with that step, the tone changed. At first, she seemed polite. When I took that second step back, she became commanding, almost hostile. We're not going to hurt you. If we wanted to do that, we would have broken in. I'll ask again. May we come in and use your phone? Lucy snarled at the door. I inched backward, though something inside me seemed to be slowly pulling me back towards the door. It wasn't a physical pulling so much as a subconscious need to go back and let them in. I got to my room, covered up the window, locked the door, and sat there in the dim light of the night light. I heard her call me back to the door, once more, and then quiet. I didn't go back to sleep that night, and I haven't slept right since. I know from reading about them that BEKs can't just come in without permission. I know they haven't hurt anyone, but I still fear I'll be the exception. When I told my husband, he said it was just a dream. He keeps telling me to forget it, but this lingering feeling of sadness, this dread when the house is silent at night, this fear of a knock at the door, this tells me otherwise.
That's fucking creepy.
I mean, just I got a couple chills, but that is kind of creepy and all. But just she could have just dialed back the. I mean, like go into detail and all, but you ain't got to go into like that kind of detail.
You're not writing a novel.
She has like this beautiful flowing auburn hair, and like it goes down right past the clavicle on her chest. Yeah, you ain't got to go into like that kind of.
She was wearing an ivory hoodie with a very stone-washed blue jeans.
Yeah, like what?
That are very popular right now.
You know how you could have done that? Yeah, so she had this like off-white hoodie on and like some jeans.
Yeah. To each their own, I guess.
I guess just trying to tell a story and sell it. Because I will say this, that because you go into great detail, that doesn't mean you're telling the truth. It is I'm going to say 8 out of 10 that you're lying when you go into great fucking detail.
That you went through that much thought process of your story that you've picked out every little fine detail.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, though, the pictures are creepy.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Like,
That's right. Now, it could be AI. I don't know.
So, hang on. Like, my thing.
Yo.
Like, so, you remember the show we watched From?
Is that when you
stayed here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of the same thing. They can't come in and, like, unless they're invited in.
Well, that also ties into, like, like what I've heard of, like, vampires, like...
Yeah, like old school vampires.
Like
not
that,
the Twilights.
Like, Sparkles. No, actually, even with Twilight, thank you, sir.
Really?
Yeah, they can't come out unless they're invited.
I've never watched the whole thing, so...
Really?
No.
It's good shit. I have been recently binge-watching Supernatural, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of just helps fuel me to look up stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like a whoa. I don't know, I just saw, motherfucker. Anyway.
Oh, you would read that one?
It's a bus encounter. But anyway.
A little bus encounter.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the whole interaction at the door. Like that, if that was me, and like, say, like, because I live in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So you just got some kid at the door and they're just like,
Let me in.
Let me in. Please, my mom is worried.
Well, bitch, go back home.
And then get more aggressive. I'm not going to hurt you. I would have broke in.
Bitch, I didn't say you were going to hurt me. You're a child.
I live in Missouri.
I'll step on you.
We have right to bear arms. Break in. See what happens.
Back up. Back it up. Especially with it being like a little small kid or whatever. They break in the fucking door. Boom. And run through the door. I think it's like a fucking rabid dog.
Right. Down, Cujo.
Gown. Anyway. You want this one or you want me to continue?
So the next one is a bus encounter.
You're going to break out the footliners.
Oh, you want me to All right, so this is the bus encounter. I was riding the bus back home after work. It was about 1 a.m. I'm a security guard and often work odd hours. So I'm sitting there, and this guy gets on, sits across from me. He was wearing a suit, had a briefcase, regular-looking guy in his 20s. What struck me about him at first was he was chewing a cigar, not smoking it. You can't smoke on the bus. So I was just looking at him while he stared out the window and chewed his cigar. And all of a sudden, he turned and looked at me. His eyes were pitch black, just as you described. My heart started beating like a mad motherfucker. Sorry. Motherfucker. And I felt my gorge rising. I was starting to panic, and I had no idea why. I was just pants shittling terrified of this guy. Now, this guy, I could get behind his descriptions. Then he grinned at me, and his teeth were all covered in tobacco bits and brown juice. The cigar clamped between them. I almost screamed, but instead I had the presence of mind to just get up and take the seat right behind the driver. I calmed down a bit after that, but I kept an eye on the guy. He ended up chatting with some girl that got on, and they were still talking when I got off. I later convinced myself he was just trolling me, having fun with a pair of contacts. Now I wonder.
It just seems like...
that just seems like a crackhead.
I will say, back in like 2008 and 2009 and stuff, like fucking, it's like special effect contacts were like really big.
Oh, yeah. So, you get all those people wearing like the whiteouts.
Yeah, whiteouts and the blackouts.
Yeah, and then they got that's when the
demon
eyes and people
like
started. That's when the whole fad with the sharpening your teeth, where you're like vampire fangs.
Yeah,
I don't know. That don't really sound too much like a BEK sighting.
No,
rather than just a weirdo on a bus.
Yeah,
chewing a cigar.
So we'll break it down with some 10 facts about the black-eyed children's kids.
Listen, listen up, trees. Trees, I know you're listening.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm telling you the name. They should come up with a different name for it, because every time I hear Black-Eyed Kids, I just think it should be a boy band.
With Black-Eyed Kids, you ready for this? Yeah. Anyway. Black-eyed kids will look like normal human children between the ages of 6 and 16, but with pale skin and completely black eyes. Additionally, people who have been in close proximity to black-eyed kids report a feeling of unease that washed over them. While nothing about the children's appearance, aside from the eyes, generally frightened the people, they still reported feeling ranging from anxiety to terror at their presence. Some people have also reported seeing black-eyed kids that have talons for feet or other demonic attributes, but most sightings are of seemingly normal children. Black-eyed kids are also commonly described as wearing dated clothing or dressing in a manner that is not typical of a normal child of their age. Black-eyed children always ask for something. It is always something that involves being in close quarters with you. They will ask for a ride in your vehicle or to enter your home to use the phone. There are no reported stories of what happens when you let a black-eyed kid into your vehicle or home. All stories come from people whose eerie feelings made them flee from the children. The earliest sighting of a black-eyed kid was journalist Brian Bethel in 1996. The story has been added to internet creepypastas lore, but to this day, Bethel insists the incident was real and happened the way he reported. In 2014, a British paper reported that sightings of black-eyed kids around the world are rising. Theories about the black-eyed kids are that they are vampires, aliens, or a demonic origin. So, talons?
Yeah, talons, that's weird.
Yeah. Caw.
Oh, I'm a bird.
I'm a bird, motherfucker. I'm a bird. Anyway.
So, like, granted, okay, so, like, my thing is, I don't believe in the supernatural, like, ghosts, and it's hard for me to believe. Because I, like, you know, we've been through this. I haven't seen nothing.
Spirit board.
Yep.
Spirit
Fuck
board.
you.
Spirit board.
That was just adrenaline.
Spirit board. You're still a little afraid of birds right
A
now.
little bit. But, if it could, like, say if I did believe, I could see it being in, like, a demonic presence. Just because, yeah, I'm saying if I believed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I believed. So, like, I could see it being demonic, just all the things that people have reported about demonic, like, people, spirits, whatever.
Uh-huh.
The whole black eye thing, and then, you know, their outdated clothing, like their lost children. Maybe there was children that passed away in a horrible way, instead of not moving, you know, or
Like a vengeful spirit
like, yeah, vengeful spirit.
that died with, like, still there's unfinished business.
Yeah, but it, like, in an angry way, like they were unalived in a horrible, horrible way.
No. And so what if, so how it said that no one knows what happens if you do let them in, because all the reports that have come out are from people who got that feeling and then left. What if the ones that do let them in, you don't hear about what happened because they're not around to tell you what happened? What if you kind of agreed with me on the, you know, the Biggie-foot thing, all right? So what if they are interdimensional beings? What if they are alien or demons, you know, angels and demons or whatever? What if those do actually exist on a different plane of existence, like, you know, interdimensional beings and stuff like that? Because a couple years back, is more a couple, but there was a phone call that was made to, I think, a radio station, and it was a guy that was on the run that worked at Area 51 or broke into Area 51 or something like that, that he called in to tell them that he doesn't have long, like, you can hear panic in his voice, like he doesn't have long to talk, but everything that we know about aliens is wrong. They are interdimensional beings that come into our world through time rips, basically. And he kept panicking and, like, talking about they're going to find me, they're going to pinpoint my location from the phone call, blah, 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 and all that, and this and that. And the radio host is just sitting there talking to him, like, trying to get him to answer some questions, and then he just lost connection. So what if what we know of as aliens is technically demons, fallen angels or whatever, or something along that nature, and that they are interdimensional beings that they see in, like, how we see in 3D, that they see in 4D dimensions, and then, you know, them ripping open the little fabric of time and coming into our era, like the little children's.
Yeah.
Like they're coming here to harvest something because they need it from the human body.
Our souls.
Yeah. Hey. Like I said, I've been binging some Supernatural, buddy.
I've been watching all kinds of stuff.
But I'm just saying, food for thought on that. Pretty cute. So jumping into the next little report, it's titled Halloween.
Spooky season.
Anyway, says, this is so funny. I never heard of BEKs before my incident, so I come on here to post my story, and the first story I see about a BEK, weird, let me preference this by saying I'm by no means a writer, just a domestic engineer living in North Texas. Also, I don't believe in the paranormal, ghosts, demons, aliens, whatever. However, I did have an event happen to me this Halloween. I have to admit, has me scratching my head. This is my first post on Reddit, and sorry to say, I had never even heard about it until yesterday. I told my best friend about my incident, and she's an avid reader of No Sleep, and she told me if I didn't post it, she would. So here I am. Anyway, hope you like. So it had been a slow trick-or-treat night in our neighborhood that evening, which is pretty odd in itself. We usually have kids from different areas dropped off in ours and have a constant parade at our door. That night, I'd say we had no more than 8 or 10 groups of kids come by the entire night. It was about 9:30 p.m., and my husband and I were sitting in our family room watching some of those ghost shows based on supposedly actual events. Those are all fake, by the way. Anyway, like I said, I don't believe in that stuff, but goodbye. Oh, I don't. Like I said, I don't believe in that stuff. But I do like a good ghost story now and then, and it was Halloween and all. We hadn't had any activity at the door in over half an hour, my bad. And it was getting late, so we decided to turn the porch light off and let our dog Chloe out of her crate. Chloe is an American bulldog and is very docile.
Good breed.
We only put her in her crate because we were afraid she'd try to get out to play with all the kids, and I didn't want to have to chase after her down the street. Also, we didn't want her to scare any of the kids because she would look a little intimidating to the younger kids. So I turned the outside light off, let Chloe out, and she followed me back to the couch to lay down at my feet. It was getting close to 10 p.m. when my husband decided he'd had enough fun for the night and was going to go upstairs, take a shower, and get ready for bed. After all, it was Thursday, and he still had to get up early the next day. My teenage son was out with his friends at a local haunted house and wasn't expected back for another hour or so, so that left me alone on the couch with Chloe. Now, just because I didn't believe doesn't mean those shows don't freak me out a bit, and being alone now watching, I'd have to say was kind of on edge. As it were, it wasn't long after I heard the upstairs water for the shower turn on when there came a light knock, knock, knock at the front door. My initial reaction was, what the hell? Really? It's almost 10. Go home. But soon an uneasy feeling came over me. Why the knock? Our doorbell glows, and in the dark, and without the porch light, it would be extra obvious to anyone there. I paused. I couldn't really just ignore it. Our front door was a big, beveled glass panel, and anybody right at the door could see in enough to see someone was in the family room watching TV. It would be pretty rude for me just to sit there and not answer it. Knock, knock, knock again from the door. I glanced down at Chloe, and she was gone. My gaze followed her usual path to the front door, expecting her to be on her way there as she normally does. Nothing. Oh my God. My eyes can't focus. She wasn't there. I stood up to look around the room better and found her crouching by the back door. She was wanting out. However, she never asked to go out like that. She usually comes and licks my hand or puts her head on my knee. This was totally out of character for her, and I have to say, heightened my anxiety. Chloe, crate, I said. She just turned back and looked at me like, hell no, lady, ain't moving. I yelled up to my husband, but if he was already in the shower, I knew there was no chance of him hearing me. Knock, knock, knock. About that time, a car drove down our street and cast just enough light on the door so that I could see the silhouettes of 2 small children through the glass. I instantly felt relief. It was just some kids, probably a couple of my neighbors, on their way back home and wanted to stop by and show me their costume or something. I headed to the door and looked back to make sure Chloe wasn't going to follow. What a great watchdog, I thought to myself as she just sat there. I turned on the porch light when I got to the door, and sure enough, I could see through the glass that it was a couple of pretty small kids. A little late for such young ones, I thought, and I began to wonder about what kind of parents would let their kids run the streets that late at night. I only opened the door enough to where I could block Chloe's escape if she decided to grow some balls, which was only about 2 feet. What struck me immediately as odd was the kids weren't wearing any costumes. They were in normal street clothes. Also, no customary trick-or-treat either. I began to feel very uneasy again. It was a girl and a boy. The girl to my left was older, I'd say about 11 or 12. I could see she was blonde, but I couldn't make out any distinct features, as our lights are from high above and on columns at the front of the porch. So most of the light was coming from behind them. I had not opened the door wide enough for any light from inside to hit them directly. The boy was younger and about a foot shorter, I'd say about 8 or 9, and looked to have... What? Where'd I go? Jesus. Sucks without the mouth, Brent. There it is. And looked to have light brown hair. The girl very politely spoke up. Ma'am, can we please come inside and use your phone to call our mom?
No.
As she spoke, something in the pit of my stomach was telling me something was wrong. What kid, even at that age, doesn't have a cell phone on their own these days? I couldn't remember the last time I had anybody ask to use my home phone. Hun, don't you have a phone of your own you can call your mom on? I asked. This was when things really got weird. Both kids turned to look at one another like they were going to say something to one another, but neither ever spoke. They both turned back to me, and the girl said, Ma'am, my cell phone battery doesn't have any charge left in it. Can we please come inside and call our mother? We're alone out here, and my brother is scared. I have to admit, there were two competing feelings going on inside me. The first, that of a mother's heart that wanted to help these two small children get to their mom. The other, a sinking fear in my gut that was keeping the other feelings at bay. It was then I noticed that during the short conversation, I'd already opened the door a few extra inches, which was completely unaware of doing. I stopped. Honey, why don't you give me your mother's number and I can call her myself? Another pause, and they asked again, looked at one another. And they again looked at one another. After a short moment, they turned back to me, and the girl said, Ma'am, my little brother has to use the bathroom. Can we please come inside while you call our mom? And with the last statement, the little girl moved closer toward the door like she was going to just walk on in by me. As she did, she stepped into the light coming from inside the house. And I got my first real look at her. Solid jet black eyes. That's all I could see. The motherly instinct was gone and replaced by terror. I don't think I've ever felt in my life. I could feel every hair on my arms and back of my neck standing at attention. I closed the door to where just my face was able to stick out. The little girl stopped and asked, and again pleaded, Please, ma'am, we're really scared and alone out here. We have to come inside. Please help us. Then, like on cue, both kids began to whimper and cry. That's when the fear took over, and I shut and locked the door. I'll call your mom if you give me the number, I shouted through the door, but I'm not letting you in my house. I could still see them stand there on the porch, just staring at me through the beveled glass pane. Part of me wanted to run upstairs to my husband, but the bigger part didn't want to lose track of where they were. That would have freaked me out even more, to not know where they were. After what seemed like forever, but probably only a few seconds, I decided I'd call my neighbor that lives across the street. As I made my way to the side table by our couch to my phone, I glanced at the back door. Chloe was nowhere to be found. We later found her in the guest room under the bed. When I got to my phone and started to look for his contact info, it was only then the kids stepped away from the door and began to walk to the street. As they did, I walked to the door to get a better look to see where they went, still not calling my neighbor. If you get close enough to the glass, you can see out enough to make out people's shapes, but you can see much detail. Of course, standing that close to the door, would make you pretty obvious to anyone outside looking in. From the door, I could see that the kids were still standing under the street lamp nearest my house, staring at me. As I lifted the phone to my ear after calling, only then did the kids start walking down our street. I met my neighbor out under the lamp once he was out there, but the kids were nowhere to be seen. Like I said, I don't believe in any of this stuff, and I had never even heard about black-eyed kids before talking to my friend. What I have to think, is these kids were just out yanking people's chains on Halloween night, but I will say this for them. They were good. Really good at it. They scared the shit out of me and my dog.
So, like, my thing with that, though, is, you know, when people watch scary movies, like, your adrenaline gets going.
Yeah.
And, like, you'll be like, you hear a noise, you're like, what was that? Like, so that's, like, my thing with...
And then your mind starts running.
Running,
starts fucking,
right.
You're seeing shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could get played off as she just got her adrenaline going so much. And
Oh, yeah. She was watching the stupid ghost hunting shit.
so, you know, you'd be watching that stuff by yourself and then
But, yeah.
start to
Nope. But I'll be sitting here. I can just be watching Supernatural, and if it's late at night and I'm in here by myself, and then fucking Eeyore makes a noise, he's the spawn of Satan in my eyes.
I made the mistake of watching Conjuring by myself.
Oh, fuck you, dude. I can't.
And it was at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, you guys
Nah.
fucking...
I was so scared to go get a glass of tea. Like, I'm standing there at the thing, and, like, I'm turning every light on. And I'm sitting there, and I'm, like, grabbing the tea, and my hand's shaking. I'm pouring, and then all of a sudden, like, out of the corner of my eye, like, I know it was me, just my mind, but, like, I see, it looked like a shadow past my back window, my kitchen window. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah, no. Well, I think, like, people, when they get that scared, the mind starts going crazy. We got one more?
What?
How many is on here?
16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't think we're going all 16.
All right. So,
Must let me in.
So on March 17th, 2008, I had my one and only encounter with a black-eyed kid. Before my experience, I had never heard of anything having to do with black-eyed kids. I was 12. I was sitting outside of a hairdresser's in an old Chevy pickup, waiting for my mom to get her hair cut. About 15 minutes had passed, and I saw some kid walking back and forth along the sidewalk in front of my parked car. At first, I thought I recognized him as one of my friends from school, so I banged on the front windshield until he looked my way. It was not anyone I knew. At this point, I was not scared at all. Not yet. The boy walked over to the side of my car and just stares. I think to let me get a good look at his eyes. To freak me out. Let me tell you, if you have seen a black-eyed kid, you have no idea what to imagine. Pupils black as the night sky. The boy whispers, "You must let me in." And then I locked the car's door and ducked down into the space below the seats. 5 minutes later, he was gone. When my mother got into the car, she told me a boy with black eyes had came into the hairdresser's, had insisted for my mother to give him the keys to the car. She refused. Thank God she did.
I don't know about that.
So, like, just the fact that see the kid, and then the kid went into the hairdresser. I don't know, this is during the day of all times.
I don't know.
I don't know, it's kind of hard to believe.
Because
you're going based off what the kid said.
That and, yeah, true. 100% what the kid said. Attention seekers.
Yeah.
So, one question, are black-eyed kids real? So, reading on to this is, there's a good reason to suspect black-eyed children are a real phenomenon. The original sighting in '96 was by a newspaper reporter whose interest in telling the story of what he experienced was more out of curiosity than fame-seeking. To this day, he maintains that the story happened the way he originally told it. There are also many, many independent eyewitness accounts spread out throughout multiple countries who have described similar experiences. They corroborate each other with the same MO. The children have pale appearance with all black eyes, appearing in twos or threes, clothing style out of date, needing to gain access to the witness's vehicle or home. It's also important to keep in mind that the Black Eyed Kids story isn't that phenomenal. If someone were making up a story, they might try harder to make it more interesting or fantastical.
Fantastical. I love that word.
The situations described seem creepy, but not like the plot of a horror movie. Just an everyday situation that some kids in it that seem strange. So, here's another one that's from early 2010. I was walking home from work and found myself escorting a young lady to her car. She asked me to escort her, and hoping I'd talk her into a drink or two. I had already had a few myself. I'd get a number or possibly get laid that night.
I told you.
I'm not going to lie. She was kind of hot. No shit, though. She looked scared. I kept walking with her and was trying to at least coax out of her what she was so worried about. She would only comment about some really creepy-looking kids who were following her. Being we were in the downtown Seattle area, this could amount to anything. So we kept walking and talking. I kept looking behind us to see if the little fuckers were... No, nothing popped up out of the ordinary. Then she grabs my arm really hard and whispered, "That's them." They were about half a block in front of us, just standing there and looking at her. So I do the prudent thing to do, which was cross the street. I make sure I lock eyes with the big one, and keep in mind once I get the lady to her car that I'd give them an earful about being a couple little shits for scaring a lone woman in a metropolitan area. I didn't get scared or anything, but did notice something strange. They don't break eye contact with me. Mind you, I don't look like the kind of guy you want to fuck with. Honestly, it's an unconscious front since I'm a bit shy. My look reminds people of either a skinhead or a club bouncer. The black tanker boots and Van Dyke mixed with the above don't make me look like a people person either. People break eye contact with me constantly. These two kids didn't. That was a big red flag for me. I finally got this woman to her car. She said thanks. I made sure to tell her where the local police station is at the Seattle PD West Precinct. Was about 5 blocks from where we were at.
Told you.
What do you think of that one?
So you're in Seattle, which is pretty big. A bunch of no good, derelict childrens. A bunch of hooligans. I don't know, just the fact of they just stand there and stare at you, that would be creepy. Just let me in. Like, that's kind of creepy.
A little bit.
I don't know, so like, because my thing is like, you hear about all those stories about, I brought it up on last video, they change.
Skinwalker.
Yeah, skinwalkers. Because, like, they don't really, they mimic.
Yeah.
So, like, they could be mimicking as kids.
Yeah, but like,
sorry, not to interrupt you, but like, and the whole thing where like with the last lady, how she was talking about like they would stare at each other like they were gonna speak and then say nothing. That could revert back to like the whole alien thing, because they say aliens are
telepathic.
Yeah, so supposed to be very advanced, so they could telepathic speak, and I could see that.
But like with the Skinwalker, like a lot of the videos and stuff that I've seen, or a lot of the stuff I've read on that was that. Yeah, they mimic like a dog or a person or someone crying out for help and all that, just to get your attention, to get you to pursue
and investigate.
And then, like that one video I watched, this fucking thing just started running towards them.
Yeah, and making like a.
Yeah, fuck that. Could be fake.
Could be.
Just saying. But I don't take no chances.
And nobody knows.
Don't take no chances.
I don't think I would take any chances with some creepy looking kids either.
Just standing on the fucking curb, just like,
Look, so
give me a ride.
I need your help. Let me in.
Let me in.
Let me in. Ugh. I don't know, that's creepy. Good thing we don't record at night.
Yeah, because your ride home was
Yeah,
fucking creepy as fuck.
you'd be on the phone with me the whole time till I get back to my house. Like, I don't know, like this whole us doing the cryptid thing. Like, 'cause I want to believe a lot of this stuff would be real, but just like I've like everybody else that's been posting on this thing, like nobody's ever heard of them until they've experienced them. Yeah. I want to experience it. Let some little creepy kid come up to my door. I'll just drop kick you. I'll be like Shawn Michaels, just sweet chin music you all the way to the neighbor.
That's creepy. I don't know. I don't know how I would react.
Well,
I'm not a very nice person.
I'm not a nice person either, and especially if they don't look the part. Like, I mean, we're in 2026, so some person dressed like they're from the 1950s and look pale and kind of scary. I've seen enough horror movies.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll be like, nope, you ain't my kid. Fuck you.
That's right. Keep on rolling.
Now, like, if it like mimicked and looked like my child, then I'm dead. They would have got me. I'd have been ruined. But like, that's my thing is, what would happen if you would like, oh yeah, come on, I'll help you.
That's what I'm saying.
What happens?
Like, no one knows. Like, every instant that's where
all those missing people go.
You know, it's surprisingly like basically a majority of all missing people, they go missing around national parks. That's insane.
It's kind of scary.
We can look into that too.
That'll be a file.
Yeah. The next one is entitled Trick or Treat. This really freaked me out. Yesterday I noticed my neighbor hadn't put out all his Halloween decorations, lights, etc. The past 2 years I've lived next to him. He's gone all out for Halloween. I don't know him well. He's younger, single, but I know he likes kids. Not in a creepy way. It even puts that. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, his brother and sister-in-law and their kids are always visiting him, and he plays with his 3 young nieces and nephews out in the yard. So anyway, I got home from work and was walking up my driveway, and I saw him outside and said something like, "Hey man, you better get your Halloween stuff up, or that house up the street's going to beat you for best decorations." He kind of smiles sheepishly and says that he's actually going to keep his house dark this year and just put candy out. I asked if he was going out of town, but he said no, something happened last year that really scared him. Now, I was concerned for my own safety if some weirdos out here coming around our neighborhood, which is a pretty safe neighborhood with tons of young families living here. So I asked him what happened. He said last year he had his brother's family over so they could trick or treat in the neighborhood since they live in an apartment complex that doesn't do much for Halloween. He had a bunch of kids come to the door like always. His family took off around 10:30 and there were only a few older trick-or-treaters. But by 11:30 they were pretty... I skip. Jesus, it's driving me nuts. I'm not left-handed. There. Go with the right hand. Here we go. All right. They were pretty much done. So he was inside watching TV and the doorbell rings. He grabs the candy bowl and heads over. Noticing that it's a little past midnight, and that's pretty rude for trick-or-treaters to still be out. But then notices he hadn't turned off all his decoration lights yet, so his house is still a beacon. He swings the door open and is about to yell boo or something to freak them out, but stops dead when he sees the kids at the door.
Boom, motherfucker.
He said one was probably around 13 or 14 and the other around 16 or 17, both boys. They weren't dressed up, but he remembers the older one was wearing a flannel checkered shirt. He was immediately overcome with uneasiness, like opening the door was a huge mistake. They just stared at him, and he noticed they had really big irises and dilated pupils. He couldn't even see the whites of their eyes, so he figured they were contact lenses. He was frozen there holding the candy bowl like he couldn't slam the door in their face as much as he wanted to. Jesus. So he nervously tried to smile at them, hoping they would break character and ask for candy or something. The younger one said they had gotten lost and needed to come in and use his phone. That was when he closed the door more than halfway on them and said, "No, sorry." And the older one said something like, "Can we just wait in your house until our parents come get us?" But by then he was convinced that his life was in danger and these kids must be high on something or intending to rob him. And he just kept mumbling, "No, sorry, good night," as he inched the door closed and locked it. He told me he was so fucking scared at that point that they were going to try to break in through one of his windows or something, but he looked through the peephole and they had turned to leave. He watched TV with the volume really low so he could hear any sounds at all, and he said he stayed up till like 5 a.m. because he was too scared to go to bed and drop his guard. The whole time he's telling me this, I'm thinking, oh my god, this sounds so familiar, just like the Black-Eyed Kids urban legend. Then I thought, hey, maybe this dude is trying to scare me because after all, he does have the Halloween spirit. So I'm looking at him incredulously, but trying not to seem too gullible. So I'm like, man, that is really crazy. Sounds like the Black-Eyed Kids. He just looks at me blankly like, what? Is that a movie or something? And I said no, but told him to go look it up online. Like an hour later, I get a knock at my door and admittingly almost jumped out of my skin thinking it's a demon child.
Yeah.
It was my neighbor, and his eyes were freaking huge. He swears to me up and down that he had never heard of BEKs before, and it's so similar to what happened to him, so he talked a while longer, and I told him that quite a few people probably know about the urban legend, and it's possible it was just teenagers with black contacts trying to freak people out on Halloween, which would be genius, by the way. But he said the fear he felt was so primal and came over him the second he opened the door for them.
Like, nope.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Because my thing was like, the dude was all about Halloween.
Yeah. And then just stops.
Tell you, man, children are creepy.
Fucking I.
Children are creepy.
You want this one?
So this one is no. You won't be calling anybody. Sounds like a chapter. The incident took place about 13 years ago. I had just moved to a new city with my wife. We were small town newlyweds from the Midwest. We moved cross country to one of the biggest cities in the Southwest so I could attend graduate school. Being naive and new to city living, I habitually answered the door without a second thought. Never again after this. The first thing that should have tipped me off to the peculiarity of this situation was the fact that someone was knocking at 6 a.m. The second thing that should have dawned on me is this kid had to reach over a rather tall patio gate to unlatch and open it. The knock at the door was startling. My wife and I were getting ready for work, a pretty normal routine. The moment I opened the door, I was overtaken with an inexplicable sense of fear. To this day, I can picture him, Teenager, average height, average build, knee-length black leather coat, short black hair, and sunglasses. The sunglasses at 6 a.m. struck me as odd, and even more odd, he was eating an apple. He was very polite and asked if he could come in and warm up. I said no. Closed the door and slid the security chain into place. A moment later, another knock. I opened the now chained door, and before I could speak, he asked again if he could come in and warm up. No, I replied, and attempted to close the door. Before the door could shut, he put his hand out, stopping the door on its hinges. He looked directly into my eyes, still wearing his sunglasses, and said, "Can I at least get some ketchup for my apple?" "Fuck that," I replied, albeit a little confused. "Get the hell out of here. My wife is calling the police." He takes a moment to let this information sink in, lowers his glasses, revealing eyes as black as obsidian, and says, "No, you won't be calling anybody." At that moment, I force the door closed, locked it, and call out to my wife. She is scared shitless, hiding in the bedroom. All jacked up on adrenaline, I rip the curtains back to look out the window next to the door. He's gone. Absolutely no trace of him. I go out on the patio and check the gate. It's still latched from inside. That was fucked up, I think to myself, and as I turned to enter the house, I noticed a half-eaten apple lying on the ground. That's like some straight-up goosebump shit. What the fuck's the ketchup?
Can I get some ketchup for my apple?
It's so fucking weird. Like, that's so weird.
That's crazy.
Like that, I mean, there's a lot of... Oh, that's creepy. So, like, this picture, like, look at the kids' mouths. Yeah. Like, to me, it could be two things. Like, yeah, it could either be sewn shut, or it's like that weathered, or like...
Dried and fucked.
Like, yeah, like they've been, buried for so long. Like, the fact that there's this many... stories about people. I've never realized like I'm like everybody else. I've never heard of it until you mentioned it. Yeah. Here you go, bro. This is one. He told me to never agree to help them. It was a cold October evening, not too far off from Halloween. I remember sitting in my room playing the original Odin. Yep. The evening was slowly creeping by, so I decided to go to the corner store. It was only 3 blocks. Shouldn't be much trouble, right? During my walk, I see the normal, the occasional person putting up Halloween decorations and kids playing in their yards. But this story is about something far more sinister. I remember seeing 2 teens about age 14 knocking on a door asking to use the phone, which, of course, I thought was weird because most teens these days have phones. As I kept walking, they stopped and stared at me for a short moment. I felt the blood in veins chill. I felt so creeped out I hurried to the next block. The next block seemed fine until I looked behind me and saw the 2 teens were following me. I took off, sprinting to the store at this point. I saw the sign for the store and relief washed over me. I opened the door and told the cashier about what happened on the way here. He looked at me slightly creeped out and told me a story about this happening to him in his hometown, and how they found him the day he left and asked for his help in an emotionless voice, and he told me to never agree to help. He told me another story, but at that point I was no longer paying attention because they were standing at the door asking to be let in. The cashier freaked out and locked the door. The teens never seemed to waver or leave. They wouldn't step away from the door. It had been an hour. The cashier and I were ready to fight our way out, but instead he took me out the back. The one teen came around the back just as the door shut behind us. "Can you help me?" is all he could say. He was closing in on us, and his eyes, they were black as starless night. They were peering right into my soul. I couldn't help but gaze into his eyes. The terror, I can't remember too much of what happened next, but I do recall the sounds of struggle. When I came to, the cashier was struggling with both teens. He was calling out to me for help. I ran towards them, grabbed him by his collar, and pulled him between the 2, knocking them over in the process. I didn't look back until I was near my house. The cashier was gone, but the teens were still falling behind. I ran into my house, closed all the blinds, and turned the music up. I got lucky that day, but I'm not sure how long I can keep out of their grasp. I tried to find and thank the cashier for saving my life that day, but he didn't show up to work after that. I asked his boss, and he told me he called over the phone and quit. He said he was moving. To this very day, I sometimes feel the fear of those eyes watching me as I drive to work. I sometimes will look out my window, and I swear I see them watching my house from a couple blocks away, waiting for their next chance. So, like, that one's kind of weird because, like, they're saying, like, it was like, rah.
They attacked.
Like,
What are you going to do if two little kids come up and start trying to kick your ass?
Depends on how big the kids are. Maybe I can take them.
Do one more? Two more?
Let's do one more.
One more? You want to do... hold on. Survival story. I helped them once.
Okay, we'll end with survival story.
All right. Says, I helped them once. Never, ever, under any circumstances, do it. I'm not sure what they do, but it feels as if they are ripping your soul out. They get really close to you, and you get amazingly drowsy. If it weren't for my girlfriend showing up mid-invasion and kicking them out, I probably would be dead. I didn't even see the black eyes until I had let them in. They're getting smarter.
So I'm telling you, man, like, see, like, it could be aliens.
Yeah. Like I said, it feels like they're ripping out your soul.
Right.
Like I said, interdimensional beings comes over, needs to harvest your soul for, I don't know, fucking electricity. I don't know. Over on their side.
Their own life force.
Yeah, something. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is very crazy.
If any of those things interested you in that, I would highly advise looking up other reports and stories of BEK, black-eyed kids, or black-eyed children. It's pretty interesting, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Or check out the awesome song by Boondocks. Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty chill, pretty cute, pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of weird that Jim's not here, but he had some stuff. Hope everything's okay. Haven't heard from him, Jim. Anyway.
Hopefully the black-eyed kids didn't get him.
Oh shit! I didn't think of that. Yeah. He wasn't home alone.
Yeah.
And he is a very helpful guy.
Yeah, helpful to a fault.
They probably just knocked on his door and wanted some sweet tea.
He was like,
You got it. Come on in. Gone. Jim gone.
But, yeah, that was definitely an interesting file.
Man, what are we doing next week?
I don't know.
No idea.
Maybe, the viewers that actually listen to our podcast.
Yeah, Mr. Clark.
What should our next...
Mr. Clark or Chris?
Chris.
Come on, Chris.
Or Tay-Tay. What should be our next cryptid file?
Yeah. Also, Danny's Doodads is doing fantastic, by the way. Anybody needs any bracelets, I will talk to her about uploading another video. But put the orders in. Help me out.
Especially if we got kids. It's a good
Buy
gift.
me a vape.
Buy me a boat.
But yeah, closing out. Calling it. I'm fucking tired.
I can tell.
I start falling asleep while you're talking.
Wow. Am I that boring?
No, it's just
A very monotone voice. So
Anyway.
just remember, if you get a knock at the door, don't race to answer it. It might be the black-eyed kids.
Or if you get a knock at the door, or you're out in your vehicle and some two little kids come up to you, that's it, punch them in the face and drive off.
That's right. Throat punch. Just
That's right. Fuck them kids.
fuck them kids.
Every kid has a cell phone. They don't need your phone.
That's
They got a phone.
There's kids that got TikTok.
That's right.
They got Facebook.
Danny's doodads.
They got that Live 360.
Anyway, as always, this is Wacky Tidings reminding all of you,
Stay weird.
and wonderful, and always stay wacky. Catch you in the next one.